Good. All right, welcome to the WGHL playoffs. We got the Colorado Springs Tigers wearing their home whites with the gold trim, facing off against the Utah Lady Grizzlies in their road dark purples with the teal trim. So I believe is the sixth matchup between these two teams so far this season, with Utah coming out on top in all 5 of the meetings so far. But the Tigers have been closing the gap as the season has progressed, so looking forward to a good game today. There's the buzzer ending the warm-ups. Girls will get things cleaned up on their ends and congregate back to the benches for some last-minute instructions from the coaches. Looks like we will have Marley Thompson starting in net for the Tigers. And more than likely switching in Erica about halfway through the second period, so both goalies will see some action, get some experience against this team. Pretty important when they're facing the number 15 ranked team in the Tier 2 girls division ranking in the country. So Tigers coming out. Looks like we've got Phoebe at center, Carly at right wing, Viv and Willa back at defense, and trying to see who we got over there at the left wing. Looks like that might be Nora. And there's the face-off. Tigers pop it back. Willa grabs it on the near side. Pops it over to the center in the neutral zone. Oh, that's Sienna over there. Sienna tries to get it up to the blue line. Utah grabs it, sends it back down into the Tigers' end. Viv collects it, brings it up the far side board. Sienna grabs it, gets it back out into the neutral zone. Utah collects it back up. Here they come on the attack. Defense in place. Shot in on Marley. Gloves it. Awkward shot. Coming in low and with a lot of heat behind it, and Marley got her glove down there, and like a good Major League Baseball shortstop, came up with it. Line change for the Tigers. Got Reagan in there at center. Battle on the near side boards. Tigers pop it out. Utah collects it up into the neutral zone, circles it back behind their net. Walsey gives pressure. Utah pops it out in the neutral zone. Here they come on the attack. We got Maggie back there, ties them up, gets her stick on it, interrupts the push. Shot in on Marley. She can send that to the wide corner, back behind the net. Nordzy over there, bodying up the Utah player on the boards. Here comes another shot in on Marley. That goes wide left. Lucy grabs it on the near side boards, forces it up into the neutral zone. We'll get an offsides call. Tigers will go ahead and swap out the lines again. So we'll have Nora coming out at right wing. Oh, gonna swap it back up again. We got Phoebe back out there. Phoebe's line, Carly and and Sienna for the front line. Phoebe's got it. She's taking it into the Utah zone. Backhand shot towards the net, goes just behind. Bella there to cut it off at the blue line, pops over her stick, and here comes Utah into the neutral zone. Carly grabs it though, pops it back up towards the blue line, trying to clear it out. Goes all the way across, shot in on Marley, knocks it down and gets it covered. Good job controlling the rebound there for the Tigers netminder. Same line for the Tigers, stays out. Phoebe wins the face-off, kicks it over there to Sienna. Sienna tries to cut across the middle and loses it. Battle down in the far corner there. Utah comes out with it, coming back around the backside of the net, pops it out to her defense. Get a little tie up there in the face-off circle. Tigers come out with it, tries to center it across. Carly grabs it, kicks it out into the neutral zone. Utah back on the charge. Nice pass all the way up to the blue line to blue line. Shot it in Marley. She swallows that up. So we'll get a face off here on the near circle. Four shots for the Lady Grizzlies already on the Tigers. Tigers still have yet to get one on the net. Maggie grabs it, battling back and forth with the Utah player. Utah still controls it out in front of the net. Tigers clogging up those lanes. Maggie circling back around. The Utah player that had the puck lost her balance and goes down, so Tigers grab it over in the corner, try to kick it up near side boards, but gets deflected by a Utah skater. Here come the Tigers out. They do clear it out into the neutral zone. Won't get an icing call on that, so Utah collects it up, circles back behind their net. In the neutral zone again, that's Reagan over there to interrupt it. Kicks it back to Casey. Casey dumps it in behind the net. Reagan back there to battle with the Utah player. Kicks it over to Lucy. Lucy fires in. Shot. High stick and call. So we'll get a face off here. Come out of the zone. Looked like that one had a chance, but I think it landed on top of the net. A little lobber shot. So they'll bring it all the way down to the Tigers' end. Looks like we have Reagan out there at center. Takes the face off, pops it over. The Utah defenseman grabs it and dumps it back behind the net. Willow over there battling up with the Utah skater. Reagan pops it up on the boards up the near side. Tigers cleared out of the zone. Lucy giving chase, trying to get over there, put some pressure on the puck. Interrupts it at the red line, sends it to the blue line. Utah there to collect that up. They dump it into their offensive zone. Viv back there. Utah player misses it. Tigers pop it out. Here goes Lucy. She's got a chance if she can outskate her. Gets to the puck first, gets a backhander towards the net, hits the side. Battle in the near side corner. Utah trying to get it out. Phoebe there to interrupt it. She dumps it back down into the corner. She's circling across. Nobody out in front to dump the puck to, so she hangs on to it. Keeps it back behind the net. Tigers are in the middle of a line change, so they get all five back out there. Maggie's got it. Dumps it back down in the corner. Utah there to interrupt that. Back out to the top of the face-off circle. Out to Nordzi. She's going to dump it in the near side corner. Phoebe down there to pressure. Sienna and Carly. Carly loses her balance and goes down. Utah clears it out. We should get an icing call on that. So 9:07 left in the first period. Still 0-0. We'll we'll have Claire at center, Nora at right wing, and Aisha out there at left wing. Utah controls it in the corner. They dump it out of the zone. Looked like that one got tipped, so they wave off icing. Willa back there to collect it in the corner. Oh, she tried to pop it up to the blue line, went right to a Utah player. They shoot, goes wide. Couldn't tell if that got Marley's blocker or if it was just a wide shot. Tigers trying to clear it back out. Utah controls it, getting it up in the face-off circle, dumps it down into the far side corner. Shot out in front, or center pass out in front of Marley. Marley poke checks that back into her pad and gets it covered up. Reagan out at center. Walsey at right wing. And Colby and Bella out there for defense, with Lucy hanging out on the right wing territory. Utah controls it back behind the net, circling it back out to the face-off circle, dumps it back to the defense. Defense pushes up, back to the winger, tries to center it across, gets deflected off of Reagan's skate, out to Lucy, who pops it back out into the neutral zone. Utah collects that though, circling back towards their defensive end. Get things collected, and here they're making their push up into the offensive end. Shot in, gets deflected off of Bella's stick. Walsey over there to put pressure on it on the far side boards. Reagan down there to help her out. Utah collects it, getting it in front, and shot over Marley's glove hand shoulder, and Utah has the lead, 1-0. 7:37 left in the first period. So we'll get a face-off here. Center ice, Phoebe back out there at center. She wins the face-off, kicks it back to Maggie. Maggie on the blue line, pops it back up to Phoebe. Phoebe couldn't quite get the puck to go with her, so popped it back to go to Maggie, who dumps it over to her fellow defenseman, and they pop it in on goal. But the Utah goalie scoops that up and is going to elect for the face-off. So Utah has got 6 shots on goal so far this period. Tigers 1. We'll get an offensive zone face-off here. Phoebe wins the face-off, tried to get a quick shot off, but got interrupted by a Utah skater. The Tigers get the puck back behind the net, pop it out to Maggie. Maggie slaps it towards the net, over to Sienna. Sienna's back there, sends it back behind the net. Looked like we had a little check there, not going to get called by the refs. Back out into the face-off circle. They tried to send it over to the near side boards. It's deflected, but here they come on the attack. Shot in. Marley hits that with their blocker, sends it wide. Carly has it, tries to center it across. Sienna lost her footing there, went down, but here comes Nordsee in. Pops it back behind the net. She's got Phoebe down there with it. Puck goes the other way there on the far side into the corner. Looks like we got Claire down there battling, got control of the puck. She turns around, gets into the face-off circle. She's got a chance to shoot. Shot in. Goalie gets down and makes the pad save, sending it to the near side boards. Down in the corner, Tigers battling. Viv down there to cut it off from the blue line to keep it in the offensive zone. Battle down there going on the blue line. Claire dumps it towards the goal. Utah there to collect it up. They send it back out into the neutral zone, and here they come on the attack, dumping it into the far side corner. They're going for a line change. Willa Keeler's back there to scoop it up for the Tigers, gets tripped up. Viv there to grab the puck and send it back out to the blue line. And cleared it out there. Should get an icing call on that though. So 5:34 left in the first period. Tigers trailing 1-0. Got Reagan out there at center for the Tigers. Walsey at right wing. Nordsee at defense. Lucy at the other winger. Shot in on Marley. Nice pad save. And she gets over across the net to block that from going in. The rebound was coming back at her. Made 2 nice saves there. Utah still controls the puck over on the near side. They center it across. Can't quite control it. Maggie grabs it and is pushing it out to the neutral zone. Bounces it off the boards. Utah grabs it, circling it back. Here they come on the push. Reagan down there to battle with the Utah player, pushing it up towards Lucy. Nordzy intercepts it as it's heading towards the net, pops it up to Walsey. Walsey tries to bounce it off the boards past the defense, can't quite get it to the neutral zone. Lucy's got it. She's got it on her stick, and she passes it across ice to Utah defenseman, who pops it back down into their offensive zone. Bella Blackmore over there to scoop it up as they made a defensive change in the process. Phoebe out there for the Tigers. Shot in on Marley, and she swallows that up, falls down onto the puck. Point blank shot, and Marley came up big on that save. So that puck was a humming. Phoebe still in there at center for the Tigers. She'll take the face off, controlled by Tigers defenseman. Can't tell who that is. Looks like that was Casey Colby out there. Pops it up to Phoebe. Phoebe's loose if she can get around. Backhand shot in on the Utah goalie. Utah goalie doesn't know where it's at. But looks like the referee lost track of it. It was sitting underneath the goalie, so he blows it dead. We'll get a face-off on the far face-off circle in the Tigers' offensive end. Nice pressure by the Tigers there. So far being outshot in the first period 8-3. Face-off there taken by Carly. She would pop it back to the defense, back up to Phoebe. Phoebe tries to circle it around to get in front of the net, but loses it in traffic. Here comes Utah on the push into their offensive zone, doubles it back. Going to try to center it across. Tigers interrupt that. Phoebe's got it on her stick, pops it on the boards. Up to Sienna. Sienna centers it back over to Phoebe. They get it out into the neutral zone. Utah scoops it back up, though, and here they come on the charge. Shot in, gets deflected by Willa. Viv there to keep it from getting all the way out in front of the net and get it pushed over into the corner. Battle going on down there for the puck. So it looks like Utah's coming up with it, but they actually lose control, and here comes Viv out with it. Gets poke check off her stick right before she gets it into the neutral zone, so here comes Utah back on the push. Back out to the defense. Defense fires. Marley makes the glove save. Another low glove save for Marley. Tigers will switch it up. Looks like we got Reagan in there at center. Maggie at defense. Lucy at the winger position along with Walsey. And then Nordzy out there as the other defenseman. Reagan pops it back towards the blue line. Utah there to scoop it up. They get it centered up, but Tigers intercept that. Here comes Lucy pushing out with it. They got numbers. She's got Walsey with her. Oh, she lost it at the red, just as she was passing over the red line. Goes back into the Tigers' end. Nordzy has it back behind the net. Kicks it over here to the near side corner. Lucy over there. Battling with 2 Utah players. They try to push it towards the net. Tigers interrupt that. Back out to the defenseman, turns and fires, and Marley not able to come up with that one. Beats her on the blocker side, it looked like. So 2:05 left. Utah 2, Tigers nothing. Being outshot so far in this first period, 9-3. Phoebe back out there at center for the Tigers. Looking to at least cut this lead in half before the period comes to an end. Girls are skating hard, just haven't been able to come up with anything offensively yet. Down in the offensive zone, Willa there to try to keep it in, comes out into the neutral zone. Here comes Utah on the push. Back out to a trailing defender, shot in on Marley. There's the rebound, comes out, and Utah there to pop it back in over her shoulder. Marley not very happy with herself on that one. I think she thought she should have come up with the initial shot. So 1:40 left, Tigers trailing 3-0. Claire in there at center for the Tigers. Nora at right wing. Aisha at left wing. Puck coming through the neutral zone. Claire there to try to interrupt the Utah push. Viv grabs it, pops it up to Claire. Here come the Tigers out in the neutral zone. They lose it at the red line. Utah scoops it up, circles it back around. Puck goes into the near side corner. Claire back there to collect it. She's looking to see where everybody's positioned. Tries to pop it up to Nora. Gets deflected off of a Utah stick, so we got a little battle going on the near side boards there. Puck goes back behind the net. Viv grabs it. Bodying up the Utah player. Another Utah skater comes up there and dumps it back to the defense. Sends a shot towards the net, but gets deflected here to the near side corner. Two Tigers down there. Still battling. Utah collects it, tried to center it there, but Claire got her stick on it. Does trickle out to the defenseman. Right in front, shot in. Score. 27 seconds left. Not the start that the Tigers were looking for. Being outshot so far looks like 10-3 in the first period. All right, here we go back into the Utah offensive end. They're controlling everything right now. Grizzlies have the momentum. Tiger goes down in front of the net. And out in front, shot goes wide. Back out to the defenseman. They turn to fire, gets blocked. Nordzy pokes it past. Here comes Nordzy. She's got some speed. Pops it in, but there's the buzzer, ending the bleeding of the first period. So Tigers will regroup. Two periods left to go. Still lots of hockey left. So shots on goal in that first period looks like it was 12 for Utah to the Tigers 3. Ending with a score of 4-0. Girls all down at the bench listening to Coach Bonnet giving them instructions. Trying to make adjustments, see if we can get something going here to start the second period. So Utah breaks their huddle. They're coming out to the face-off circle. Tigers do the same. Goalies will swap ends. Looks like we have Phoebe out there at center, Sienna left wing, and Carly at right wing, Willa Keelers and Viv out there at defense for the Tigers. Tigers push it into the offensive zone, lose it just as they go over the blue line. Here comes Utah on the charge. They got a person out in front of the net, gets tied up with Viv, and shot in on Marley. She makes the save there. Utah player tied up with Marley in the pad, but they get untangled, and puck comes out to the neutral zone. Tigers trying to push it into the offensive end. Phoebe chasing it back to the near side corner. Utah controls it, circles it back behind the net. Tried to center it across. Carly there to intercept it. She gets around the skater. A shot in, goes wide left of the net. Utah puck momentum took it out of the zone all the way down into the Tigers' end. Willa collects it back behind the net. She'll pass it over to Viv. Viv scoops it up, sends it back across to Willa. Willa pushing it out. Got Walsey on her left. Dumps it into the Utah end, back behind the net. Tigers try to pressure. Reagan out there to cut it off on the near side board. Sends it into the corner. Walsey over there to dump it back behind the net. Lucy giving chase over there. Looks like we're going to get an elbow penalty on Utah. So Tigers will go on the man advantage here for a minute and a half. .12:34 left in the second period. Tigers on the power play, so Phoebe back out there at center with Sienna and Claire out there at the wingers. Viv and Willa out there manning the blue line. Ref making a change at center for the Utah. Shot in for the Tigers. It comes out. They pop it back into the goalie. Quick whistle. So a couple little opportunities there, but 5 seconds run off of the penalty clock. There's the face-off. Sienna takes it, dumps it back behind the net. Phoebe's got it. Circles it around to the face-off circle, dumps it back behind the net. Claire's there. Pops it back up to Phoebe. Phoebe's going to send it back to Viv. Viv back to Phoebe. Phoebe steps up, over to Carly. Oh, nice little one-time pass to get it to the center where Sienna was, and she just couldn't handle the pass. Phoebe back over to Viv, back over to Phoebe. They're going to try to set this up again. Oh, nice little one-time pass off of Claire's stick again. Just rockets across the front of the net, back over to Claire. She gets it, and it gets tied up in front of the net. Tigers trying to keep it there. Viv pops it back into the far side corner. Claire over there to collect it, bodying up the Utah player. Utah does collect it back up. Tigers trying to keep it down there. Utah does get it cleared out there. Bounces off a hand of one of the Tigers defensemen though, so doesn't have enough to get down for icing. They waved that off right away anyways. Shot in, gets deflected before it gets to Marley. Phoebe's got it. Here she comes charging out with it. She's got Tigers going with her. Utah back. Phoebe on the near face-off circle, trying to wrap across. The shot, but goes back behind the net. Casey looking back behind her, gets popped up to the Utah skater. They carry it into the offensive zone. Loses it to Nordzy. Nordzy collects it, tries to pop it up to Lucy. Lucy is getting control of it at the red line. She brings it into the Tiger zone. Shot in, pad saved by Utah. Penalty is now over, so both teams are at full strength. Reagan in there. Looked like she was going to have an opportunity to pull the trigger. Takes a shot from a weird angle, bounces off the side of the net. Rebound comes back into the goalie, and they get that covered up, so we'll get a face-off here on the near side. 10:26 left in the second period. Tigers getting a little bit more offensive pressure here so far this period. Still haven't been able to find the back of the net. Not sure what the whistle was there. Didn't like something. Redo. Claire pops it into the corner. Utah collects it on the near side boards. Gets it out to the neutral zone. They got a player waiting. They pop it past Willa. Here they go. They got two people coming. Shot in. Marley slid one way. They got it around her, but the backhand went wide and behind the net. So Marley did just enough. She could be another tripping call there, as looked like that Bella that was going to be out on the loose, but got tripped up as she was hitting the red line, and Tigers will go back on the power play. Got 2 shots on goal on that first power play that they have, so hopefully they can build on that this time around and find the back of the net to start cutting into this lead with 10:01 left in the second period. Phoebe takes it, shot, goalie makes the save, comes out to Nordzi. Nordzi sizing it up, decides to pop it up to Phoebe. A little back and forth. Phoebe takes it, gets it down there to Claire. Claire tried to center it, gets deflected back in behind the net and over to the far side corner. Bodying up each other down there. Claire gets it back on her stick, pops it out towards Phoebe. Didn't have quite enough on it to get it to her. But Reagan in there also. She sends it around to Claire, popping it up to Phoebe. Phoebe back to the defense, but Nordzi wasn't on the wall, so she'll collect it back into the neutral zone, send it back up. Here comes Phoebe. Got Reagan offsides, but she gets back across as Phoebe was waiting for her. Oh, nice little toe drag there to get by one, but the next Utah skater was there to poke it off of her stick. And they bounce it into the Tigers, and they wave off icing, so Casey will collect it. Nordzi pushing it out. Here she comes. Gets it into the Utah zone. Nice center pass across. Came across right before Claire could get there, though. Claire gets it back behind the net. A nice little pass out in front of the net. Tigers can't control it. Gets tied up into their skates and back out into the neutral zone. Willa grabs it. She'll dump it into the zone right before Reagan cleared the blue line, so we'll get an offsides call. 7 seconds left on the power play. No shots on goal for the Tigers so far during this power play. They're going to bring that one all the way out to center ice. There's the face-off, goes over the far side boards. Willow over there to try to poke it towards the blue line. Utah skater bodying up Lucy. A little pushing and shoving going back and forth. Another whistle. Not sure what the whistle's for. Looks like Utah's going back in the box for an elbow penalty. So another Tigers power play. Plenty of opportunities here for the Tigers. It's time to start cashing in. Bring the face-off all the way down into the Tigers' offensive zone on the far side there. Phoebe in there at center. She'll have Sienna on her left. And it looks like Lucy on her right. Pops it into the corner. Lucy grabs it, skating around back of the net. Tried to pop it out in front, but got interrupted. Utah sends it over the far side boards. Lucy grabs it, top of the face-off circle, sends it in on net. Utah's there to interrupt it. Claire took a swipe at it, but it goes wide of the net. Here comes Utah out on the push. Tigers grab it, pushing it back out to the neutral zone. Phoebe will bounce it off. They're going to call icing on that. So 56 seconds left in the power play for the Tigers. This is their third power play for the day, 0 for 2 so far. We have kind of struggled on the power play so far this season. Did get one power play goal in the last game that they played about a week ago or so against Arapahoe. Utah controls it. Tigers pop it back out into the neutral zone. Carries all the way up into the Tigers' offensive zone. Lucy back there to pressure the puck. They'll send it over to the far side. Lucy over there. They pop it up. Defenseman for Tigers was up to cut that off before it came anywhere near the blue line. Sends it back on net. Nordzy takes a shot. Lucy tried to get her stick on it to deflect it, but just missed it, and they'll send that the length of the ice, and we'll get an icing call with 17 seconds left on the Tigers' power play. Bring it all the way down and get a offensive zone face-off here. So 7:09 left in the second period, still 4-0 Utah. Pops it out to Willa. Willa dumps it back into the corner just out of the reach of Reagan, it looks like. Reagan pops it up to Phoebe. Phoebe loses it. There comes Utah out. They should be at full strength now. Here they come on the charge. Shot in on Marley. Goes off of her glove back behind the net. Tigers collect it. Bonnet sends it over to Lucy just out of her reach, but it carries into the Tigers' offensive zone. Utah collects it, circling back, and here they come charging out into the neutral zone. Tigers' defense is back, sending them wide of the net. They take them back behind the net. They circle it around, center pass across. Tigers there. Reagan's got it on her stick, tried to pop it up to Phoebe. Phoebe has it. Here she comes out with it. Got one person to beat, another one trailing her. And shot in. Goalie makes a nice blocker save, sends it over here to the near side. Utah pops it out into the neutral zone. Here they come on the attack again, but Nordzy there to poke check it off the girl's stick. She'll collect the puck, take it back behind the net. Near side brings it up, pops it out in the neutral zone. Aisha just not able to handle the pass, but here comes Utah back into the offensive zone. Lucy there to gather the puck in the corner, doubles it back on the far side. Here she comes out through the face-off circle. She's got Nora with her, it looks like. Or is that that's Lucy. Shot in. Oh, nice pad save. Looked like it might have deflected up to catch the corner, but goes wide of the net. Here comes Utah back out onto the charge. Dumps it into the near side corner. They'll go for a line change. Nordzy back there to collect it. She dumps it up to Aisha. Aisha tried to lead Nora with a pass there, but way out in front of her, and we'll get an icing call, bring that all the way down to the Tigers' defensive end. Tigers will go ahead and switch their goalie right now with 5 minutes left in the second period. Marley's morning is done, facing I believe it was 13 shots. It doesn't look like the second period is updated. Probably around 15. I don't think Utah's had very many shots in this second period. Lucy has it coming into the offensive zone. Loses it back to Walzer. Walzer sends it towards the net. Gets deflected off. Utah controls it. Sends it back up the boards on the far side. Here comes Utah on the charge. They got a man all alone in the middle, but couldn't get the puck over to her. They send it deep, back behind the net. Erica follows that over here to the near side corner. Squeezing off that post, not giving them much of an angle. Shot in, gets deflected. Here comes Lucy with it. She's got two Tigers with her, two defensemen back for the Grizzlies. Lucy will pop it back behind the net. Collected over there into the far side corner. Utah collects it behind their net, pops it up towards the blue line. Defenseman not there. So Viv will chase it back, collect it into the Tigers' defensive zone, pop it up to Phoebe. Phoebe grabs it, brings it in. She's got one person to beat. She gets across in front of her. Oh, just couldn't quite get caught up to it in time, and the goalie is able to get that swallowed up. So looks like Marley faced 14 shots in the first half of the game that she was in, letting 4 get by her. Tigers are up to 6 shots on goal for the game. Both teams have 1 shot on net here in the second period, according to the live scoring that I'm looking at. Tigers dump it in the corner. Sienna over there to try to grab it, but it comes back over here to the near side into the neutral zone. Tigers, Sienna's got it on her stick, gets it into the corner, back behind the net. Barton there to help her out. She gets it, tries a wraparound shot. Goalie's got her big leg down there to block that off. They send it up the far side boards. Utah grabs it, sends it over here to the near side. Tacking in on the Tigers. Nordsey there to poke it off into the corner. And she'll collect it up, send it over the far side. That's Carly over there. Sends it back behind the net. Phoebe there, trying to get it on her stick. Bodies up the Utah player. And looks like Claire has it on her stick. She'll circle it back and then pass it out along the near side boards out into the neutral zone. Carries all the way into the Tigers' offensive end. They'll go for a line change. Back out into the neutral zone. Nordsey there to grab it. She'll charge in. Tigers, it looks like we're going to get an offsides call. They're making a line change, but didn't quite get off of the ice in time before the puck came across. So 2:21 left in the second period. Tigers trailing 4-0. 14 shots for Utah in the game, 6 for the Tigers. Back to Bonnet. Bonnet tried to make a D-to-D pass there, gets intercepted in on Erica. Erica tries to get her blocker up. Top left corner, goal for Utah. 5-0, 2:10 left. Reagan out there at center for the Tigers. Walzer on her left with Lucy out there on her right. Bella Blackmore and Casey Colby out there at defense. Here comes Utah on the charge. Center pass over. They collect it up, loses it off of the backhand. Into the corner. Reagan up there. Gets tied up with the Utah skater. They collect it. Tried to charge in front of the net. Shot just wide right of the net. Another shot in on Erica. She makes a nice pad save there to kick it into the near side corner. Reagan there tying up the Utah player. They take it back behind the net. Casey giving chase. Nice center pass over. Tigers pop it out to the blue line. The defenseman there for the blue line at the blue line kept it in momentarily, but the Tigers do get that cleared out to the neutral zone. Here comes a pass up to the blue line, and Utah brings it in. Shot in on Erica, and she'll get that swallowed up. So we'll get a face-off here in the Tigers' defensive end with 1:13 left in the second period. Tigers trailing 5-0. Face-off will be to Erica's left. Phoebe in there to take the face-off. She controls it, sends it up to the blue line, couldn't quite get it out. Sienna there to give battle, pops it out into the neutral zone. Utah there to collect it up, sends it all the way up to their offensive zone. They dump it back behind the net. Can't quite tell who is down there for the Tigers, but they get control of it, get it out, but lose it as soon as they get it into the neutral zone. Does carry all the way into the Tigers' offensive zone. Phoebe down there bodying up the girl. Battle going on, comes up to Nordsey. Nordsey tried to pop it back up to Carly. Goes all the way to the far side. Phoebe there to control it, pops it by the Utah defender along the board. She brings it over here to the near side. Over to Nordsey. Nordsey dumps it back up into the corner where Lucy's waiting for it. She tried to center it back out, but Carly just couldn't get there in time to get a clean shot off on the goalie. Phoebe chasing it down into the corner. And there's the period. End of 2, Tigers 0, Utah 5. Shots on goal, if this is up to date, are 14-6 Utah still. That can't be right. It's saying each team only had one shot in the second period there. So let me update here while we're waiting for the third period to start. That's what it's still saying, so I'm not sure if that's accurate or if they're having problems with the live scoring. But I know Marley faced one in the second period before she left, and I could have swore Erica faced at least 2 in the last 5 minutes of the second period that she was in, so. Utah breaks their huddle, slowly skating out to the face-off circle, leading 5-0. 14 minutes left to play here. See if the Tigers can get something going to build on for the next game, which will be at 7 o'clock tonight. Here come the Tigers. Erica goes back to the net. Phoebe out there at center for the Tigers. Looks like she'll have Carly at her right wing and Sienna at her left wing. Willa and Viv out there for the defense for the Tigers. Utah controls the face-off. They send it up into the offensive zone. Viv back there to collect it. She doubles it back, pops it back out to the blue line. Defender for Utah there. Tries to take a shot. Big lobber rainbow shot in on Erica, but she played that like a center fielder, gloved it, and we'll get another face-off. Phoebe digs in. There's the face-off. She kicks it back to Viv. Viv grabs it, skates it back behind the net, doubles it back, and then reverses traffic again. Kicks it up to Carly. Carly pushes it out into the neutral zone. Utah grabs it. Circles back around, tries to send it up to their right winger, but couldn't handle it. It goes into the far corner. Pass across, tries to center it up. Willa battling there in front. Tigers losing it underneath their feet. Phoebe grabs it, sends it up to Carly here on the near side. She tries to pop it out, deflects off of a Utah skater back into the corner, but Viv's there to scoop that up. She passes it up to Reagan. Reagan pops it out into the neutral zone. Utah grabs it. Here they come on the attack again. Can't quite keep it on their stick though. Carly's got it. She's charging out with Lucy on her left. Lucy couldn't handle the pass. It goes into the Tigers' end, but Utah will dump it back out and we'll get an icing call. So. Looks like we're running the clock on this game with Tigers trailing 5-0. Got to make every shift count, girls. Reagan digs in there. Here's the face-off. She pops it to the corner. Utah grabs it, pops it back out to the blue line. Tigers grab it. It's in the face-off circle. Utah clears it out. Nordzi there to control it and send it back into the Tigers' offensive zone, but we'll have an offsides call. Reagan digging back in. She wins the face-off. Tigers control it, pop it into their offensive zone. Couldn't quite get there before Utah did, so Utah is back on the charge in their offensive zone. Maggie's got it. Back behind the net, she pops it over to Lucy. Lucy grabs it on the near side boards. Charging it out. Utah grabs it, gets to the middle. Couldn't get a clean shot off, so it deflects wide right of Erica into the corner and back to Lucy. She centers it across, no Tiger there. Utah got it, far side, centers it across, couldn't quite make the pass there. Here comes Lucy on the charge. Got three defenders for Utah back. Gets pinned up on the boards, tries to center it across, gets intercepted by Utah. Utah kicks it out into the neutral zone. Nordzy can't handle it. She'll chase it back into the corner, beating the Utah player to the puck, take it back behind the net. Here she comes over on the near side. Tries to take a shot, gets deflected. Back across. Nordzy sends it over the far side corner. Utah has it, kicks it back to the defenseman, gets tied up underneath her feet. Tries to clear it out. Aisha has it on her stick. She's got Nora out in front of her. Aisha pushing it, loses it. Nora there to collect it, but they can't quite get it into the offensive zone. Here comes Utah. Uncontested shot, hits Erica in the shoulder, bounces out. Aisha tried to get the rebound, but lost her balance. Back out to Aisha as she's back up on her feet, and she dumps it out. Not sure what it hit there. That took a weird bounce. It looked like we were going to be looking at an icing, but hit something and deflected all the way down the blue line. Not sure if that door is set correctly or not. So they check that. We'll get a face-off here on the near side, just outside the blue line. Phoebe in there for the Tigers at center. Utah grabs it, sends it into their offensive zone off of Bella's stick. Carly grabs it. She'll circle it back behind the net. On the far side there, gets tied up. Phoebe there to help her out, and she'll take it back over behind the net on the near side. She's charging out with it. She's got Carly out with her. Oh, there's a trip. We're going to get called for the fourth penalty on Utah in this game. Tigers are back on the power play. 0 for 3 to start this game, so be nice to cash in on this one with 8:50 left in the third period and a running clock. So Reagan out there, Phoebe and Claire for the Tigers front line, and then you got Nordzy and looks like Bonnet out there for the defense. Tigers have it, kicked it out to Viv. Viv sizing it up, decides to pass it over to Phoebe. Phoebe back over. Viv tried to take the shot that time, but got deflected off of a Utah stick. Tigers grab it in the neutral zone, try to send it back up to their offensive end. Gets tied back up and sent into their defensive end. Viv has it, passes it up to Phoebe. Phoebe's out and running. She's got 2 Utah players to beat. She does have Reagan over there on her right side in front of the net. Nice little toe drag, gets a shot and score. Tigers cash in on the power play. Nice moves by Phoebe with a toe drag to get it past the Utah defender and rifles a shot into the upper right corner of the net to cut that lead down. That brings the Tigers back within 4, so we will get stop clock action if they can keep it at that, or even cut into this lead even further. So a little charge there for the Tigers. Reagan out there at center. Lucy at right wing. Tigers pop it towards the Utah zone. They collect it and tried to clear it back into the neutral zone. The second time they get it there. Viv has it for the Tigers. A long pass across the ice to Lucy. Lucy tries to send it over to Walsey. Walsey gets it on her stick. Couldn't quite catch back up to it after she made the move past the Utah players. So Tigers have to collect it in their defensive end. They try to send it up to the blue line, but it gets cut off at the red line. Utah collects it, circling it back around. Here they come on the charge. Circle it around, in on Erica. Another shot in on Erica. Another shot. That one just squeaked behind her all the way across the crease and past the post. So got a little bit of luck on that one to keep it at a 4-goal deficit. Another shot in, goes wide of the net. Aisha has it, charging it out of the Tigers' off defensive zone, gets wrapped up in the neutral zone just before the red line. Utah has it, back on the charge, shot in on Erica, goes high and wide of the net. Battle going on here in the near side corner. Tigers control it. Claire coming out with the puck, gets tied up, kicks it up towards the red line. She collects it, dumps it into the Tigers' offensive zone. Utah defenseman back. Nice pass just out of the reach of Nora. Nora looked like she was going to be able to intercept that. Shot in on Erica. She deflects that up over the top of the net, and Aisha stretches out for it. Couldn't quite get there. Shot in on Erica, and she'll glove that one. We'll take a face-off with 6:12 left in the third period. Tigers trailing 5-1 against the Utah Lady Grizzlies. Looks like Phoebe is in there digging in for the face-off. Tried to pop it by the defense, couldn't quite get it there. Turned around, wraparound shot. Nice flash of the leather by Erica and gloved that. Not sure if that was going wide or not. She was out at the top of the crease, played it perfectly. Don't take any chances if you can catch it. So we'll face off here to Erica's right. There's the face off. Utah controls it back out to the defense. Reverses traffic, gets it to the center of the face-off dots. Sienna had it, but lost control of it there, so Utah tried to get it, but Tigers get control of it, send it up to Carly. Carly battling, trying to get it out, but Utah comes up with it, charges in on Erica, sends the shot just wide to Erica's left. Back out to the blue line. Utah can't quite keep that in, so they'll have to retreat back into the neutral zone. Everybody's out, so here they come on the attack again. Into the corner, pops out to the face-off dot. Couldn't quite get enough on the shot to make that any kind of danger. Shot in on Erica. She sends that to the near side corner. Here comes Phoebe out with it. She's got a full head of steam, and Carly trailing her. She gets around the defense, in on the goalie. Oh, nice save by the goalie. Ricocheted off the top of her leg pad, but she gets her own rebound. Another shot in. Tip. Battle going on in front. Bodies and arms going everywhere, but the goalie got that covered up. Nice attack by the Tigers. Had a really good opportunity to cut that to a 3-goal Utah lead, but we're still staring at a 4-goal deficit with 4:52 left in the third period. Looks like we got Reagan in there at center for the Tigers. She pops it over to Lucy. Lucy tries to center it over to Walsey. Walsey couldn't get to it before the Utah skater, and they'll dump it all the way down. Not going to get an icing call on there. Colby reverses it back around to the far side. Walser pops it out into the neutral zone. Lucy giving pressure. The D-to-D pass. Defenseman brings it up to the blue line. Gets it into the Utah offensive zone. Walser over there on the far side to try to pop it out. Can't get it by the defender. Shot in on Erica, but Erica is there with her golden glove again, and will take a face-off in the far side corner there. So we'll have Claire in there at center for the Tigers just to take that. Goes back out to the defense. Aisha blocked the shot. Not sure where that went, if it went into the Tigers bench, but we'll get another face-off here. 4:09 left in the third period. Tigers trailing 5-1. There's the face-off. Claire sends it over to Viv in the corner. Viv takes it back behind the net. Gets tied up with a Utah skater. Battle going on. We had 3 Tigers down there. They pop it out to Nora. Nora tried to squeak it past the defense with a little backhand push there, but the puck is in a bunch of feet, gets pushed out here to the near side. Tigers get it cleared out. They'll circle it back. Utah on the charge again. They get completely cleared out of the zone, so they just pop it in. Tigers pop it back out. Utah defenseman skating back to gather that back up. And here comes Utah on the push. Oh, they were going to get a Tigers penalty here. So Tigers will go shorthanded here with 3:18 left with a tripping call on Claire, it looks like. Tigers have been very good on the shorthanded situations this year, and they've actually scored a lot more goals shorthanded than they have on the power plays. So we'll see if we can get one that way here to cut into this lead. And Nordsey gets it. Nordsey's out on the loose. One-on-one against goalie and gets it by. Shorthanded goal, Tigers! Cuts into that lead. Look at the commentator calling it. So 5-2 Utah. Plenty of time left to play shorthanded here, so let's get two, girls. Refs over there talking to the scoring booth. I think the scoring table forgot to run the clock, so they're going to run a little bit of time left off of there. Probably about 8 to 10 seconds, I would think. Looks like they took about 7 seconds off the clock. It was pretty quick. Here comes Phoebe off the face-off. Loses it in the neutral zone. And here comes Lucy. Lucy one-on-one with her. No, I'm sorry, that was... Carly had the one-on-one with the goalie, but sent the shot just wide. Phoebe has it back behind the net. A full-length pass. Here comes Utah on the charge. They'll circle it back around. Carly has it, pops it up to the neutral zone. Phoebe grabs it, brings it in. Oh, just lost it. She had a step on the girl as she was splitting the defense and just lost it to the near side corner there. Willa dumps it deep. Reagan back there to collect it. She tries to center it up to Phoebe, but it gets cut off by a Utah skater. And they'll dump it out of the zone full length. Got players down here by the Tigers' blue line. Tigers get it back out. Here comes... Reagan with it, but she gets tied up. Viv pops it back out into the neutral zone. Lucy over there. Lucy has it, circling it back around, charging it up into the neutral zone. Here she comes on the attack. Utah there to get a body on her. Keep it there at the blue line. They're coming back across the neutral zone, attacking. Lose it in about the top of the face-off circle, so the Tigers will poke it down into their offensive zone with 1:20 left in the third period. Tigers trailing 5-2. Viv dumps it deep into the Tigers' offensive zone. Tigers are making a change. Utah dumps it all the way out into the neutral zone. Here they come on the attack. No big hurry for them as they're leading by 3 goals. Pass over to Sienna. Sienna tries to get it into the Tiger zone. It gets cut off right at the blue line. Utah skates it across. Bounces it off the boards. Bonnet there for the Tigers to pop it up to Nora. Nora charging. Utah back into their defensive zone to cut that off. 40 seconds left. Nora there. She's all alone. Gets a shot on goal, but the Utah goalie gets down on it and gets that covered up. So 36 seconds left in the game. Tigers trailing 5-2. I think the girls would like to go and hit a reset button on that first period. They've been very competitive in the second 2 periods of this game, actually outscoring Utah 2-1 in periods 2 to 3. And they send it. They're going to say that got tipped, so Nordsey chasing it down. Oh, Erica sent it to the boards. Utah player was there but couldn't pull the trigger on the open net. Here comes Claire. Tried to pop it by. Phoebe looked like she lost an edge there. She had a beat on it, and there's the buzzer. End of 3. Tigers fall to Utah 5-2. So Tigers' next game will be this evening at 7 p.m. here at the Edge Ice Arena in Littleton, Colorado against the Mountain Selects. Again, that's at 7 o'clock. Girls line up for the handshake line. So hope to see you back this evening. Thanks for joining.